Merry Christmas from Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Jerry Escher along with Debbie Georgiani. Rich Jesse is running the controls today. Jeff Burson, as always, is handling the social media. And Ryan Penny does the call screening. And the Michaels fill in on some of these different roles as well. Michael Birchfield, Michael McCall. So from all of us to you, a very, very, very Merry Christmas, Debbie. I hope that you and Marty had a blessed day yesterday. And now we're in this glorious season of the year.
I love this Christmas season. Love saying Merry Christmas. Yes, Marty and I had a fabulous Christmas. Very quiet, very low key, because we're still a little bit under the weather. We're hanging in there. But I just heard recently from a wonderful Take Two listener that they said you should be excited, because when you get sick around Christmas time, it means that you're going to have a great New Year. So I was like, wow, okay, I'll take it then. That makes all the more meaningful to go through this. But it's been rough, I'll tell you. I've had to reorganize things, not necessarily run around as much. So maybe it was a good thing. It kind of slowed us both down. But it's great to say Merry Christmas, Jerry.
Well, if that's the case, then what does it mean then if you've been battling stuff for the whole year?
You can have the next decade.
The rest of my life is going to be pretty good.
Right.
Well, it's good to have you all with us. Merry Christmas indeed. And, for some of you, it might be maybe you took an extended few days off and you're still sort of in, shut it down mode or rest and relaxation mode or visiting mode. Maybe you're back to work. Maybe you had to work yesterday. Hopefully you didn't. But one of the things, I guess the thing we want to talk about today, Debbie, is Christmas has just started. It hasn't ended.
That's right. We are in the season. So please keep the lights up. Keep celebrating, telling everyone that Jesus is born, our Savior is born. It's just a wonderful time. I heard today, Jerry, on the news that today is the second busiest retail day of the year. That's when everybody goes and returns the gifts that they don't need or don't want or whatever, and they go back to the stores and they return. Well, I mean, we're in the Christmas season. Are you still saying Merry Christmas? Do you have your tree lit, the lights up, the baby in the manger, in your creche? Do you have all these things still happening because you are right in it right now? Don't give in to the world, where the world tells us, okay, we're done with that holiday. Okay, start packing up. We got to start looking forward to Valentine's Day or New Year's or whatever. No. Let's enjoy that. And that's what we're talking about today, Jerry. That's why we titled it, Please Keep the Lights Up.
Please join us, 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. You can slip in a little comment about how your Christmas day went. We hope that it was filled with joy and peace and, God willing, family, friends, at least some company. So let us know how your Christmas went. But also, how are things trending where you live right now? Are your neighbors? See, Debbie, I think there's a difference. I think commercially, Christmas kind of goes away for the most part like the day after or very, very quickly. I think residentially speaking, I know on my block, we're going to keep our lights up, obviously, through Epiphany, at least.
January
Unless
6th.
I get lazy, then it'll be, around St. Patrick's Day when I take them down or something. But I think most people keep their lights up probably through New Year's and stuff. But in the stores and in the world and in the workplace, I mean, it is back to business as usual right away, it seems.
It really is. It really is. Well, Jerry, because New Year's is so close to Christmas Day, of course, maybe the lights are still up because people are still in that festive mood and stuff. But I think what we're trying to zero in on is this idea that we are in the Christmas season and to stay focused on the present moment and what we're in. And because the world is telling us, move on to the next holiday, think ahead, go on to the next thing, stay on top of things. And that's unfortunate because we miss out, I believe anyway, Jerry, tell me if you agree with this. We miss out on some of the beautiful benefits, the blessings and the graces that come with recognizing the liturgical season that we're in. And I think that's what we want to impart to our listeners is that this idea that we really must stay present in the moment that we've been given.
Yeah, well, we understand fully well as Christians, who is the creator of time. God himself is not in time. He is not in time. He is not in space. But he created time in which we live. And then, of course, the second person of the Trinity, the Son of God, entered time and thus sanctified all of time. So in a certain sense, Debbie, the church, being the vessel of God's presence and grace in the world, is the determining entity that can say, okay,
right.
Christmas can be an octave of 8 days, or Christmas can be 12 days, or Easter can be an octave, and every day. If people go to Mass today, I'm going to go to noon Mass today. You know what they're going to say, Debbie? They're going to say,
Yes.
on this Christmas day. Christmas Day was yesterday. But we go to Mass all this week, and the prayers that the priest says are going to be on this Christmas Day. It's as if it's one day. So do we live that way? Do we think that way? And not that we go down the street, with our Christmas lights blinging in everybody's faces and saying, hey, everybody, shake them by the shoulder. Do you know it's still Christmas? But still just living that, Debbie, living that, showing that example. I remember all through my life, Debbie, I'm going to go to the gym today, too, and I'm going to say to the people at the front desk, hey, Merry Christmas. And I remember last year I said that to one of the gals at the desk, and she looked at me like, what? Does he know what day this is?
Yeah.
I thought to myself, yeah, I do. I do know what day this is. So
Right. Well, this is an important topic. So if you are out and about in your streets in your neighborhood, going to your retail store to return some Christmas gift that you want to send back to the stores, maybe pull over to the side of the road and make a phone call and share your take of this, your wisdom on this, because we need to hear from you. This is a live broadcast. We are live. Well, we think we are. Wait, let me pinch myself. Yep, I'm live. 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. You didn't laugh at my little joke, Jerry. That's the best I can do being under the weather.
I was deep in thought of whatever brilliant thing I was going to say next, which nothing came to me. So. But here's another thought, Debbie. What about your kids, dear listeners? Do your kids understand? You have the lead up, the run up. You got Advent and the lights and the decorations, and then the packages are under the tree, and then Christmas morning things get ripped apart, and the wrapping gets thrown away, and all the gifts are there. And then do your kids understand? That is just the beginning of Christmas. And if they do, how did you impart that to them? How did you impart that to them? And maybe people's kids, Debbie, run into funny looks or comments from their peers, from their neighbors, from their friends, like, why do you guys keep your lights up? Why do you guys keep saying it's Christmas when it's not? So this is just a great opportunity, Debbie, to share this message with the world.
It sure is. So we want to hear from you, 833-288-3986. When we come back, we're going to Linda May and the others. So hang on. We'd love to hear from you.
Great to have you with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. It's our first live show post-Christmas Day, that is, because it is still the Christmas season. And we're asking you how you continue to mark this season and really not not in any pushy way, but just try and be a witness, an example to the world around you, maybe to your neighbors, maybe your coworkers, maybe even within your immediate family or your extended family. Some people who just think that, well, it's December 26th now, so Christmas is gone until next year. It is really, it's a season. It is a liturgical season. It's an event. It's an event that we immerse ourselves into. So how are you able to share that and maybe help others to see it that way as well? Real quickly, Deb, before I let you go to the calls, wanted to mention Morning Glory is another one of the really outstanding shows on EWTN Radio, and it's every morning and tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. So great show for those of you who are maybe in your car already on the East Coast or getting up early throughout the rest of the country or other parts of the world. It's Morning Glory tomorrow morning, 7 Eastern Time on most of these EWTN stations.
Love that show. Jerry, here's a suggestion. We have so many celebrations prior to Christmas. There's such a build-up. You have Christmas parties, everything happening up until December 25th. And then after that, there's this lull, if you will, between Christmas and New Year's. Maybe a suggestion would be we should start having more of those Christmas celebrations after Christmas. Maybe have those neighborhood gatherings or friends, have them over on the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. Get the picture? So that you can keep that Christmas season going. I've always thought about that because everything's done prior to Christmas Day. It's very interesting. So we'd like to hear from you. What's your take on this at 1-833-288-EWTN? That's 833-288-3986. You can also text us. You text the letters EWTN to 55000. You can weigh in on social media on YouTube and Facebook. Hi, guys. I know your chats are going strong. Or you can email us at take2@EWTN.com. Okay, as promised, we're going to go to Linda May, and she's in St. Augustine, Florida, on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Linda May. Welcome.
Well, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Linda May.
I love the suggestion about having a neighborhood party after when we're in the Christmas season. I don't know if that's going to happen in our neighborhood. I haven't seen any trees on the edge of the curb yet. But there are things we can do, and that's keep wishing people the third day of Christmas, the fifth day of Christmas, the seventh day of Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Hum a little tune when you're in the store. My husband and I have plates, luncheon-sized plates that we keep on the table. And, of course, for the particular day, that something will dessert will be on there, or maybe some olives, who knows, whatever's on the table. And that keeps it alive in our house. We also in our parish have an infant of Prague statue that wore a beautiful red cape today because it's the Feast of Stephen, so it's another visual. So those are some of the things that we do in our house to remember Christmas tide.
You know what, Linda May, your suggestions are great, and I love the fact that you do that. It brought a question to my mind, and I've really never really asked myself this adequately, I don't think either, because you may have heard me say, I mentioned at the gym, at the counter, hey, Merry Christmas, and get that funny look, or in the grocery store or whatever. It would take way too long to explain what we mean by that to the people who don't understand it. What could we do, Linda May? Do you have any thoughts, or you, Debbie, or maybe carry a little pamphlet explaining that it's the Christmas season? I don't know. What would be a good way to kind of follow up with that? Because,
if I'm in the grocery store and I say, it's the Merry Christmas, it's da-da-da, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens. You remember that song?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
They go, yes. And some go, no. I said, look it up on the internet. 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep it out there.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. For me, anyway, when I do that too, Linda May, I just always say to people, we are in the Christmas season. And they just look at me and some will nod like they understand it, and some will kind of look at me a little puzzled. But I just leave them with that because I just want them to see, that we are in the season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't overdo it. Don't be pushy.
Right.
Well,
right.
most people say, I thought this was the football season.
Which is one of the things you can do during the Christmas tide. It's okay. All right, thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Linda May. God bless you. Merry Christmas again.
All right, 833-288-3986. We're talking today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Please keep the lights up. Okay, that's kind of an all-encompassing way of saying let's keep the season of Christmas going strong.
Alive.
Yeah, alive. We are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. And the church gives us a season, technically really an octave, where it is like one day. But we also have, as Linda May suggested, the 12 days of Christmas start on Christmas Day, and each one of them leads up to Epiphany, for example. So what are some of the ways that you, even just you individually, in your mind, in your heart, try to keep present before you the birth of Jesus in the manger, and that this is a season, an ongoing season, not just a one-day event, not just over and done with. And maybe you notice how the world, around us takes, the lights down, the decorations, kind of back to business as usual, but not necessarily always residential people do that as well. So what happens in your part of the world? 833-288-3986. Okay, Deb, you want to take us to Bob then?
Bob is in Bloomington, Indiana, I believe, are listening on Ave Maria Radio. Hi, Bob. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Thank you.
Merry
I
Christmas.
Have a little bit of a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I have a very different take. I work as a merchandiser. I go around to department stores and put up displays and take down displays. And today was the day to take down all the Christmas cards and put up all the Valentine cards.
That's exactly what I said, Bob, at the beginning of the show. I know a lot of people said, why is she rushing past New Year's? But I went into a couple stores as well right before Christmas, and they were already pulling out the Valentine stuff. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. So you have firsthand experience in that.
Well, we did wait until December 26th to put the Valentine's cards up. We actually got them last week, and we decided to wait until after Christmas to put them up.
Wow. And how do you feel about that? I'm curious, Jerry. How do you feel about that, Bob?
Well, it's I have to kind of be distant about it because it's my job. It's what I've got to do. They want the display up, so I've got to put the display up and make sure it's nice and neat and attractive so people can start shopping for Valentine's cards. It is nice to see that there's a selection of 3 or 4 religious-based Valentine cards, which is nice to see. But it's between doing this and the other thing I have to do this week is go in and put up Super Bowl displays.
Right. Well, taking a step back, we can talk about that in a second, Bob, but taking a step back, the card situation here, you said, of course, December 26th, it's time to, sweep out the Christmas cards, put in the Valentine's cards. At what point prior to Christmas do they have you put Christmas cards out? I'm just curious because we see, in stores, the sales and the decorations and everything just go up. Seems like after Labor Day, definitely after Halloween. About what time do you see that in your particular job?
Christmas cards went up the day Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving.
Okay, well that's reasonable. It seems to me. At least it's not right after Labor Day or something like that. But yeah. So and then of course So you get to see, like Debbie said, Bob, you get to see firsthand, just sort of the secular seasons or the cycle of seasons in the secular world. And of course, the Super Bowl is coming up, and we know that. So, wow, God bless you, Bob. Yeah, you. Do you get opportunities to? Go ahead.
I said it's time to put out the nachos and the cola.
Right.
Oh, for Super Bowl, you mean? Is that?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Bob, let me, real quickly, before we let you go, I'm just curious about this because we wonder, this is why there's so many folks running around unsettled, with that agitated spirit. Do you think that this is partly due to the fact that the world is we just don't seem to really enjoy the present moment? I mean, you're seeing it from that end of it in the retail end, the commercial end. Are you noticing that? I mean, what do you see when you encounter people?
You kind of have to put it aside and go at it from just be really clinical about the whole thing. It's something that has to be done, and you have to go out there. The displays have to be in place. because that's what the companies are paying for.
Paying for, yeah.
They're
right.
paying for so much presence in the store, and if they don't get it, then they lose money.
If they don't get it, Bob, you will, right?
Right. Right. So I go, so that's what I do. I go in and set up the displays and make sure. So, it took me about 2 hours to put out all the Christmas or Valentine's cards and box up all the old Christmas cards.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and let's be clear here. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this per se.
Yeah.
I mean, like Bob is saying, it's the corporate, the commercial approach to this, and then that happens to be Bob's line of work, and there's nothing at all wrong with this. I think just as individuals, and Bob, I know you feel it. We can hear it in your voice. You feel you'd love to see Christmas extended, the season of Christmas, and all of that. But like you said, it's just the circumstances that you find yourself in professionally in your employment that you have to do that. But there's certainly nothing wrong with that. They have their way of doing things, and like Bob said, they're paying for that, and they want to make sure that they get that. So,
I understand that.
Well,
Go ahead, Bob.
I said I keep my decorations up, but on a personal level. But the stores that they're taking them down and getting ready for the next big push.
Right. I keep thinking of like the little kids and stuff. So when out of sight, out of mind, and when you pull things, visually away in the world, then it leaves their realm of thinking. So that's how I'm kind of viewing it. It's very interesting. But yeah, Bob, this is an interesting angle, and I think it's something that we need to be aware of that's out there. So basically, the world is not going to support what season we're in. The world's going to be moving ahead very quickly. So we have to make sure that in our homes, like you said, Bob, you keep your own lights up. In our homes, we do stay in the present moment. So I think this is good. Thank you, Bob, so very much. God bless you in the work that you do.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Travel safely as you go about to your work there, and be blessed here during this Christmas season, and a very prosperous 2019 for you and yours. Take two with Jerry and Debbie. Please keep the lights up. How do we keep the season of Christmas not only in front of ourselves, but, if there's an opportunity before the world around us as well? We're going to talk with Carol about that next. Stand tall, Carol, in Burlington, Wisconsin, listening on Sirius XM 130 to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Carol.
Jerry and Debbie, this is Stand Tall Carol from Burlington, wishing you and Debbie Merry Christmas. And
Thank you.
Jim sends his love too. And this is a great topic because I think as Christians we are called to witness Christ all year long. And after his birthday and the way that the world has blended the commercialism with the event, it's very important for us as Christians to keep it alive. And I think that it's very hard to witness to people and start explaining all of it, how we celebrate Christmas longer. I, for one, am going to wear my Christmas socks and pin all year. And then when people say that Jesus' birthday is just too big to celebrate in one day, he's too important. And
wow.
And then also, when today is the feast of, I believe, St. Stephen the martyr, but and they had an underground movement when the martyrs were starting with the Christians. But when you see somebody who's disabled or sad or something, you think, bless their heart, and you say a prayer to keep Christmas alive. So they don't know that you're keeping Christmas alive by praying and sending good wishes to the person, but you're doing it in a spiritual sense more than overtly talking about it. So more subtle. And I think that if you miss the day, that you keep sending greetings and Christmas cards out, and as long as you can to people, to let them be remembered and let them know that the love of God is in you and you want to pass it on. So.
Well, I would love to
anyway,
think that I still have a number of Christmas cards to mail out, and I would love to think that it's because I'm just taking advantage of the Christmas season. But, of course, it's just procrastination on my part. I'll readily admit that. They should have gone out by now. But, I love what you said, Carol, about, Jesus, of course, we celebrate his birth every single day. And as Catholic Christians especially, other Christians of other faith traditions as well, may recognize and celebrate certain seasons to whatever degree, like like Advent in this case, before Christmas, or Lent before Easter, and then the season of Christmas, the season of Easter, and so forth. But we must do this. We must do this. I was at Christmas Eve Mass, and the priest at the parish where I went to, powerful preacher. He's one of these. He's from Nigeria, one of the beautiful missionary priests who has come to us, and he was adamant. The first thing he said, he was either right at the start of Mass or at the start of his homily. He said, "It is." He said at the weekend Mass, he says a lot of people were coming out, leaving Mass, saying to me, "Father, happy holidays," and he got very animated about that. And he said, "It is not happy holidays for us. It is Merry Christmas." He says, "We are in a war. We are in a war for souls. And we're in a war for the truth." He says, "For those out there," and he wasn't being critical or mean, but he said, "For those who want to say happy holidays, that's fine for them. But for those of us who know what it is that we're celebrating, we have to say Merry Christmas." So he said, if somebody says happy holidays to us, we say, no, we're celebrating the birth of Christ. It's Merry Christmas for us. So anyway, that just really got the whole congregation fired up, I'll tell you that.
Well, it's a time for catechesis when we have encounters, and I think that's great. Carol, can you hold on? Because I just wanted to comment on something you said about the Christmas pin that you're going to be wearing all year long. So this is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're asking today if you keep your lights up. Do you keep your lights up all throughout the Christmas season? That's what we're talking about today on Take Two. Be right back. Merry Christmas. Please keep the lights up. We're in the Christmas season. That's what we're talking about today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We've got Carol on the line from Burlington, Wisconsin. Carol, I wanted to ask you a question about the pin that you wear, the details of it. I think you said it was a Christmas tree. Is it a Christmas tree, Carol?
Right. It's very subtle. It's just a mild gold one. It's white, and then there's a little star with a spring on top with a little diamond type thing, and it's about 2 inches tall or something. It's a small but very subtle. So that's it's not all
right, ornate. Yeah. So if somebody if somebody comments to you and says, Carol, I think you might have you might need to update your sweater a bit and take off the Christmas tree and put an Easter bunny or something because we're getting close to Easter. Tell me what you would say. I just want to know the teaching moment encounter that you would be having.
I would just say that I keep it on to remember Christmas and the importance of Jesus and his light to the world, something like that, where you'd say Beautiful. That you'd use it as a opening statement for witnessing. And
right. Beautiful.
Yeah. So, and
Beautiful.
then as a recovering alcoholic, they tell you that, in the old days that you were lit so much that you can keep your tree up all year in gratitude to be alive, too. So if people wonder why a Christmas tree is on, then I would tell them that. But that's kind of a joke. But no, but it's true that you're supposed to walk in gratitude and do these things.
Right, right. Did you get a white Christmas this year in Wisconsin, Carol?
No, just a couple snowflakes.
Oh.
Just a couple snowflakes, but that's why people wear those cheese hats, just to keep warm, though. That's right. Those big cheese wedges you see at the Packers game, they do that to keep their head warm mainly. So
Right.
there you go.
I love it.
Anyway, so.
All right. Well, bless you and Jim, Carol. Thanks so much for being a part of the Take Two family and the Stance Hall family, too. We love you guys and hope that you have a blessed, beautiful Christmas and a fantastic 2019. We appreciate your prayers and promise you are always in ours. Wow, good conversation going, Debbie, here on this
Yes,
topic.
great conversation. But I've got something disturbing now I want to share that it really bothered me. I just read it on the break. Did you see Jay's comment from YouTube? This just really bothers me. Jay says, my neighborhood HOA makes us take the Christmas decorations down 7 days after the day they celebrate the holiday, or they get charged. Each homeowner gets charged $25.
Yeah, what I was wondering when I saw that, if it's $25 a day or if it's just one, maybe Jay can clarify that for us. But in either case,
but still, Jerry,
this is
that's disturbing.
All right, we can look at this from a couple of different ways. By the way, let's give out the phone number. We got a line open there that Carol was on. We want to hear from you. How do you keep the Christmas spirit going, not only in your heart, but in your home, in your workplace, in your neighborhood? Again, not without being boorish about it or being pushy or anything, but we are in the Christmas season. Please keep the lights up. That is our topic today. How do you keep that Christmas spirit and that season and the meaning of Christmas going when really all around us, everybody's saying, okay, Christmas is over, like radio stations, Debbie. I mean, they play for weeks on end. They play endless Christmas music. And by noon Christmas Day, it's gone. It's back to regular music. Okay, that's fine. That's what they want to do. But that's not what we should be doing. So, dear listeners, how do you make sure that Christmas flame stays alive in your little part of the world? 833-288-3986. Okay, back to Jay now.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, there's a couple of ways we could look at this, Debbie. I mean, on the one hand, it's a little bit heavy-handed maybe for the Homeowners Association to say, all right, you can keep them up for 7 days. After that, you get fined if you don't. I mean, but what if you have somebody who just, does leave them up until St. Patrick's Day or Independence Day or just is too lazy to ever take them down or something, and then they have them on every day all year round? I mean, you have other residents to be thinking about here. You have even some who are not Christian. You might have Jewish people in there. You might have Muslim people in there. So I don't know. There's probably, in my being maybe somewhat sensible on saying there are different ways to look at that.
Well, no, I totally get it. I mean, I think there could be a reasonable time frame to take them down, but when that basically is saying, Jay's basically saying that right after New Year's you have to take them down, but we are still in our liturgical season, our religious season. So isn't that infringing upon our religious beliefs, Jerry? I'm just curious. I mean, now it's making me think, Jay, I'm going to go check my HOA guidelines to see if that's in there as well. That's really disturbing. I can understand, Jerry, if they said after Epiphany or something of that nature, you have 20 days to take down your lights. I totally get that, just to be reasonable and keep everything up to speed in the neighborhood and make it look a certain way. I understand that. But isn't this kind of cutting into our celebration?
It is, yeah. It very well could be, and a question needs to be asked: does the HOA know that?
Maybe they don't know.
Maybe and maybe they do. I don't know, Jay. Jay, you can tell us that too. But if a person is part of an HOA and the HOA isn't really attuned to that, that'd be a good opportunity to attend the next meeting of the HOA and just bring that up and just say, by the way, in our tradition, Christmas goes until Epiphany, the 12 days of Christmas or what have you. Can we get that extended?
Extension.
It's not an unreasonable request. However, it does. I think what Jay is pointing out here is simply that, and please forgive me if anybody is on an HOA board or anything. I don't mean this to be offensive, but they have their rules to to administer and to apply. And sometimes, they can be pretty stern and strict about it and often do it without smiling. So I've been part of an HOA before. I'm not right now, thank God. But anyway.
We are. We actually like being part of an HOA because
there's a lot of benefits to it.
It does. It keeps the neighborhood very, uniform and it looks really nice. And I can understand that. But I love your idea, Jerry. Maybe Jay should just attend the next HOA meeting and just make that suggestion and just say, hey, in case you didn't know this, maybe you could just extend it an additional, 5-6 days. And that might be another great teaching moment. Jay, that's very interesting. I have never heard of that before. So see how our Take Two family helps us shape this conversation. Oh, look, Ben emailed in, Jerry. Ben said, my kids enjoyed opening their gifts and going to Mass. Oh, yeah, Ben's tuned in right now. Hi, Ben.
Yeah, yes. Ben listens most days. And love your emails, Ben, and your listenership. And what I really love, Ben, nothing personal to you, but I know you'll be happy when I say this. Ben's father writes reflections every week for the Sunday readings, and he does them for holy days as well. And so Ben sent an email, a very, very I thought it was very helpful to me. It was a very helpful reflection about Christmas.
Yep.
And he just talks about, if we want true peace, calm, and joy in our spirit, then we just have to learn to surrender all to Christ. And I emailed back to Ben. I said, Ben, pray for me on that because I have a real hard time with that. And so Ben's going to pray for me that I can do that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You got to pray hard, Ben. This is going to cost you a lot of prayers.
Yeah, Ben, this is a big challenge, Ben.
Debbie knows me very well.
It's round the clock, Ben.
It is.
No, but we do very much appreciate all your emails, Ben. Thank you so much for being such a vital part of the Take Two family. We appreciate that. Jerry, we're talking today about, we're asking folks to please keep their lights up to celebrate the Christmas season to the fullest and not to move on to the next occasion. We want you to stay in the present moment and to enjoy all those benefits and blessings that come with recognizing that our Savior is born. Just like Carol said, that she wears that Christmas pin and she says it's too important. She's going to tell everybody all year long that Jesus is born.
Yeah, and we've got some conversation going on the question of the HOA mandating that you take your lights down after a certain number of days. And John, also watching on YouTube, said, I'm sorry, but isn't making someone take down their lights infringing on religious freedom? Leaving them up all year, probably an eyesore. But you best bet I'll take the fine, then I'll fight it in court. So John has a little bit of a feisty Christmas spirit in him there. I like that, John. Very, very zealous for our faith and for the Christmas message.
I think we have to really stand firm in our faith, and we're up against a world that doesn't exactly support it anymore. And so I think we do need to step up. I mean, look at we're on the feast day of St. Stephen the Martyr, first martyr. I mean, Jerry, it's perfect. Isn't it so, don't you kind of feel like the positioning of that is so appropriate? The day after Christmas, we're already talking about martyrdom. We're all called, to be martyrs, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the most meaningful, really touching feast days of all for me throughout my life, at least as long as I've been, actively practicing my faith, is the Feast of the Holy Innocents, which is coming up as well. Mm-hmm. And of course we have the abortion scourge that is very much related to, and all that. But yeah, we do have a lot of. That's another thing, Debbie. We just have to remember every feast day has some kind of really, really deep significance, and they're not always juxtaposed like St. Stephen is to Christmas. Usually it's, the day that a saint died or something, or is there a particular feast day. But in this case, St. Stephen, first martyr, being right after the day after Christmas Day.
Well, we're called to be saints, but we're called to also live out our faith, to be willing to die for our faith. And I think this is a great reminder. This is a great discussion. I'm learning a lot. Mary just said, I leave my Christmas decorations up almost until the middle of January. Way to go, Mary. Molly said, I just set up my tree and decorations between the vigil and midnight masses. Way to go. See? People are taking this on and really living out faith to the fullest. I love this, Jerry.
Okay, we do have more phone calls, so thanks for your patience. Donna is next in, I hope I say it right, Mishicot, Wisconsin, listening on Sirius XM 130 to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Is it Mishicot, Wisconsin, Donna?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Merry Christmas.
Okay. Merry Christmas to you, too.
Thank you.
We started in our home last year. We're new to Wisconsin, my husband and I, and we very devout, Catholic family. We started a 12th night party in our home last year. And the people that came loved it so much, we're doing it in our parish. We have 2 parishes that our pastor is in charge of, and we're doing a 12th night party in our home this year. And it is the Feast of Epiphany on January 6th, so we're encourage all of our parish members to continue their Christmas season until the Epiphany. And at the 12th night party, we're having a pageant with live kids doing the pageant, and live baby Jesus, and the kings bringing gifts, and all the children will receive gifts, and so that to carry through to that Epiphany time.
I love it. I love it. Donna, you're making me remember back many years ago when I belonged to this one parish that I worked at. We did the same thing. We had an Epiphany party, and it was well attended, and everybody looked forward to it. And because of that, it allowed folks to absolutely stay in the Christmas season and that festive mode all the way to Epiphany. So I just want to say, way to go. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for organizing it. And thanks for making it parish wide so that it grows and continues to grow and more can be welcome to it. So I love that, Donna. So obviously your pastor was supportive of it. Is it something that you're going to do every single year?
We're hoping to. Yes, we are. This is hopefully the first annual, and that it'll catch on more and more. We've got several large families with the kids that are going to be a part of the pageant, and lots of angels with angel wings and the 3 kings and stuff. So we're
Nice.
getting excited about it. So I hope everyone in our parish is. So I just wanted to share that because that's another way that we try to keep Christmas alive through the season.
And I'm sure you're going to do this, Donna, just real quickly. This is the catechetical hat that's going on in me. I'm sure you're going to teach about the significance of gold and frankincense and myrrh, right? I mean, you may want to incorporate that because it's very powerful. Okay, cool.
Yes, and they'll be carrying the chest with the gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Also, the kings will be.
Right.
Sweet.
Yeah, and Donna, you said something important there. You said it's going to catch on, and I think you were referring to maybe more and more parishioners learning about it and attending it. But the thing is, people who live near Catholic churches who may not be Catholic, or they may be Christian of another tradition, and don't attend Catholic churches, don't understand the liturgical seasons as they cycle throughout the year for us as Catholics, it can't help but rub off on them, obviously. Debbie, as you know, and Donna, I'm sure you know as well. I mean, people who live within any number of blocks of a Catholic church or have to drive by there may be a sign put up saying 12th night party at the parish or something, and that'll at least get them scratching their heads, wondering what's going on. Then the light bulb may go off. So, oh yeah, 12 days of Christmas, and it may just get them asking questions of a Catholic neighbor. Or they may even stop by the parish and say, hey, what's this 12th night party all about? So there's
That's a wonderful idea. Yes.
Yeah, there's implicit evangelization going on and catechesis, like Debbie said, all the time for things like that.
Yeah,
So way to
I
go.
love it.
Way to go, Donna.
Well, thank you so
right.
much, Donna, for sharing that with us,
Thank
and
you for
Merry
taking my
Christmas to
call.
you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Debbie Annie in Meridian, Connecticut, listening on the EWTN app, said when she was a child, her family celebrated Christmas from Christmas Eve until the Epiphany of the Lord, and they didn't open any presents until Epiphany because that is when Jesus received his gifts. She now continues that tradition with her children, though they do open a little bit of gifts on Christmas Day. So,
I love it.
Yeah, beautiful exercise in patience. And really waiting, because sharing that moment of receiving the gifts when Jesus received his gifts. Not
Right.
easy for young people to do, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's very true. Jerry, I just wanted to share this because we are in the Christmas season, and you just talked about getting your Christmas cards out now, and I'm sure there's gifts and everything that folks want to get to their friends and relatives. Can I just suggest, folks, that you go to EWTN Religious Catalog? There are some great Christmas gifts there, and the beauty of the Religious Catalog is at the same time you're supporting EWTN's mission. So you are part of the evangelization movement, and then you're also getting your wonderful, well thought out spiritual Christmas gifts. So it's just a great online destination for Catholic books and DVDs, rosaries, devotionals, holy reminders, and so much more. It's like the QVC of the Catholic world. You guys are going to love it. Please check it out. And there's all sorts of incentives, maybe some shipping stuff and stuff that can help you out. And that's wonderful too. So it's a great destination for you to check out. So buy Catholic, shop EWTNRC.com today. Get your specials and get your Christmas gifts in, and you'll be happy. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, it is still Christmas. You'll get them in time for Christmas, believe it or not. So we're going to go to Dawn next. Dawn's been holding patiently in Buffalo, New York, listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Dawn. Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Merry Christmas to you and Debbie. And, it's good to talk to you again. I've talked to you in the past.
Yep.
You recall, maybe remember my voice and all that stuff. But
certainly,
first of all, I think of it. I just hope Debbie, you and Marty feel better soon. It's a heck of a thing going on. But
thank you, Don.
Maybe, like I say, being sick now, you'll be good for the new year, like one of the callers said. But go from there anyway.
Yep. Wow. So, what's your take on this discussion? We're learning a lot, don't you think?
Yeah. What? Pardon me, Deb?
I said, don't you think we're learning a lot, Don, having this discussion today on the first day back, a live broadcast, talking about keeping the lights up all the way to Epiphany? Oh. What do you think about it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's interesting how it's involved. Even when I was growing up, it seemed like we were. It seemed like at least by New Year's or the day after, we kind of took stuff down. But then, he was even helping the folks when they were around doing that. But I said, what they wanted to do and when they had the help to do it, because later on they couldn't do it, and like they were older and couldn't. But and I think really when I find out more about the historical aspect and I find out more about the feast days, because we didn't really get into it too much when growing up, and of course being on a farm, it's different, involved in that stuff and not really knowing too much about the weekday aspects. But just in these later years, I definitely keeping stuff up until Epiphany, and I'm keeping the crib up till the baptism, really, because the Christmas season, I guess, really goes that far. I think you folks are aware of that aspect, but it's like Bob was saying earlier, Valentine's. Oh, got to be kidding! They have that. Jeez, you're not even into the New Year yet, and they're talking Valentine's. But I know that if that's the job, I guess you got to do that. But I don't know. But yeah, and basically around me, I think the neighborhood, I think, will keep stuff up for, I hope, a few more days. Try to keep stuff track that way. But and then Donna was saying that's a great idea what they're doing for the 12 days for Epiphany. I know in our church we actually had like a dinner on the Epiphany, and it's like you say, you got the Christmas season, you got the Easter season, so. Look at that aspect.
And Donna, you've got me thinking about something that I wanted to get into a little bit at the start of the show, and it just slipped my mind. And that is different parts of the country, different regions. As we well know, some areas are more Catholic than others, or more overall Christian, including Catholic Christians and other Christians. And my experience has been, and Debbie and I have both been to Buffalo many, many times in that part of the country. It seems to be a pretty still a very solidly Catholic area. So do you find that there's maybe more of a sense of maintaining this understanding of the Christmas season in that area of the country where you live?
I guess a lot of the Polish, a lot of influence in the Polish area around Buffalo, I noticed in that aspect. Maybe that was part of the reason, with the Broadway market there and the center for years there, which I enjoy going to. And I don't know if we see so much that nationality, but that might have something to do with it that way. I know I'm German myself, and of course the tree comes from basically the German aspect, but that might have that. That's a good angle, Jerry. That might be what part of the reason too. I know, like I say, probably different parts of the states are probably more Christian, and others like Louisiana, and I don't know about like where you folks live in California and Arizona, but it's just that's what I kind of find out as for our particular area.
Mm-hmm. Don, you were talking about the nativity set at the creche, and I don't know if you know this, but I've talked about it a few times on the show. I actually keep our creche up the entire year, and prior to the Annunciation, Yeah, I do. And prior to the Annunciation, that's when I pull the baby Jesus out, and I actually put it behind the nativity scene. And then, so I keep it up all year long. It's actually very well displayed. It's permanent part of our living room, actually. And I've done that for many years. And I oftentimes I have folks that come in and they're very, intrigued by it. It's a conversation starter. You can tell by the cartoon bubble over their head. At first they think, is she too lazy? She couldn't pull it down or something like that. But then they start to realize what I meant by having this a permanent statement in our home. And it's been a tradition that we've done now for many years. I think I'm going on 15 years, and I just love it. And I find myself, Don, gazing upon it on a daily basis because it's in my living room. And so it allows me to stay very much aware of what our Lord and Savior has done for us for all of eternity. So when you brought that up, it made me think of that, Don. What do you think about that? Would you think it's a little strange that I have it permanently displayed in my home?
Yeah, you're very, very strange. No,
no, true.
See, Debbie, our listeners didn't need to hear that to know how strange you are.
I just walked right into that one, didn't I, Don?
Pardon me?
I said I walked right into that one, didn't I, Don?
Yeah, you dug yourself a good hole. No, it is an interesting aspect as far as a crib. I know my sister-in-law seems to like to keep her tree up there, or I don't know. I think she has it up just about all year, but I think she puts different. I'm not sure about that. I think maybe she does it for different seasons, like for Advent, maybe Valentine's Day, and that stuff, which I think is kind of an interesting aspect. But the crib, the creche, that's an interesting scenario. Never thought about it that way.
Yeah. I'm grateful to my pastor. My pastor actually forced me to buy this very expensive nativity set. And at the time I was thinking, what is he thinking? I have small children in the house and we don't have this kind of money to buy this. But it's so beautiful. And I think about it all the time that, I made this purchase. I should, be able to utilize it year round. And so that's where it kind of came from, and now it's become such a great teaching moment for those that encounter it when they come into my home. So, but Don, it's always good talking to you. You just totally brighten up our show and our day, and we just wish you the merriest of Christmases, a happy New Year, abundant New Year for 2019, Don.
Thank you, Don. Our guess is, in fact, I think we know this, you're a supporter of the Station of the Cross, and just wanted to mention that because Debbie and I and Wendy Templeton and Dave Palmer will be part of a special one-day year-end fund drive for the Station of the Cross on Thursday, and this is happening around the country. So, dear friends, if your station or your network or EWTN comes to you and says, hey, you know what, we need a little bit of a helping hand to get us through maybe a shortfall this year or just to give us a head start going into 2019, please help them out. And Debbie, I know we're looking forward to that. Yeah, tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow we're going to be on the Station of the Cross. So a one-day fund drive for them, and this may go for other stations around the country as well. So
yeah, it's a wonderful way to get your tax-deductible year-end gift in to the Catholic station that is locally supports your area and brings you all these great, fine broadcasts. It's just wonderful. And just remember, when you take part in EWTN or your local Catholic radio station, you are supporting the evangelization efforts. And I think that's so key, Jerry, because when we do stuff that we put our money behind, we want to know that it's affecting other souls.
That's right. We had a few other social media comments. We heard from Jane. Jane says, hi, Jerry and Debbie. I leave my lighted wreath up, but for the sake of the HOA, I unplug the lights after New Year's Day, except during the potential blizzard when I turn them back on. Ha ha. Then no one complains about a little divine assistance. God bless, Jane. And on Facebook, Bob, I keep my Christmas decorations up until Epiphany at least. Bill says it takes too long to put them up. They'll be up for a while. And we have a couple of YouTube comments there as well, Deb, if you have a moment.
I do. I actually don't have any pulled up. Do you want to?
Okay, well, Martha said we get to keep our lights up till it gets daylight up in Alaska. That's all next month. Okay.
Nice.
And Jose says our Parish Christmas Festival is on January 5th. Michael, I keep my tree up past Epiphany because I'm too lazy to take it down right away. Okay, Michael's honest. So am I, Michael. Mine will be up until at least then.
Well, we want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. Tomorrow we got another show planned for you. But until then, have a beautiful and blessed day. See you real soon.